Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to Story to Shelf. It's great to have with us today Yasameen from Maazah, a really awesome female entrepreneur who is doing great things with her chutney brand. And today we're going to take a deeper dive and learn more about your road to success. So great to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about Maazah. I was doing a bit of research and it sounds like you come from very entrepreneurial roots, and it just sounds like a really cool, interesting startup story, like a lot of the brands in our platform, starting from the kitchen, and would just love to hear more about how it all began.
Totally. So we truly did start in the kitchen. I think at a young age. So I come from a really big family. My family immigrated to the United States from Afghanistan. And every weekend we get together and we always talk about what we're going to eat, like what is on the menu, right? Which auntie makes the best rice, the best sides, like what is the idea of us getting together without food has never happened. Like we always gather around a meal.
Yeah.
And so it was just natural that my sisters and I wanted to kind of get our feet wet in the food industry and like get this idea in our head that we wanted to share something from our family and our culture with the world. So I think one day my mom added fresh ginger to her already delicious cilantro, vinegar, lemon juice chutney recipe. And I remember all of us sitting at the table saying, "Oh my gosh, Mom, this chutney, wow, what did you do with this? This is so good." And everybody was saying, "Pass the chutney, pass the chutney." And I remember being like, "Oh my God, this is it. Like, we have to bottle this and share it with the world." And then that summer, we started making it in my sister's kitchen and taking it to farmers markets, and that's how we started.
That's amazing. And is it both of yours? Like, how many sisters were you doing this with?
I have two sisters and my mom, so it's mainly
Amazing.
me and one sister and my mom, but we're a big family, so we call cousins, my brother,
Yeah.
my dad comes and helps, everybody's on board.
So it's a family-run business and everyone's
Yeah.
chipping in and helping. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And so how did you progress from farmer market into grocery? What was the path to that?
Yeah, so it was kind of that weekend thing that we did for a while, and then I went and did my MBA and was kind of using the company as my case study the whole time. And then in my last semester in January 2020, I decided I was going to quit my full-time job, finish my MBA, and take Maazah to the next level. And then my plan for like that 18 months kind of changed, right, with the pandemic. So we needed to make some really big business decisions in 2020. We did a rebrand, we changed how we did manufacturing, our packaging, all of that. And then we relaunched at the end of the year with a big push for retail, and in December 2020 got into the New York Times, and that totally like changed changed.
Tell us about that. How did that happen? Like, how did that come about?
I had gotten like a small business grant like through the pandemic, like
Yeah.
some grant offering. And I was like, what is one thing that I know I can't do? And it was PR and marketing, right? And I found someone that I thought was like a good fit for us. And it was the first sample and the first set of anything that we sent out, and they loved it and wanted to try it. And it was like a small tiny article in the New York Times, but it's still the New York Times.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you had an agency that got you that article,
Yes,
is that what you said?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. So you probably spent all your grant money on that one article, but it led to
Totally.
greater things. That's awesome. And so recently you've had a lot of great success with RangeMe and ECRM, with the Kroger Fresh Summit, which we were really, really excited to see. Of all the brands, and there were hundreds of applicants, there were 5 brands that made it to shelf, and Maazah was one of those brands, which is absolutely phenomenal. Can you just tell us a little bit about that whole process, how it came to be, how you discovered RangeMe and ECRM, what the process was of submitting your products, and just the different steps of the meetings, the virtual meetings, the in-person, and now what's happened with your brand at Kroger. So firstly, congratulations. So exciting.
Thank you. Absolutely. This was going from farmer's market to Kroger, like truly, like that's what.
Seriously, it's like winning the lotto. It's amazing.
and it is because of RangeMe and ECRM, because I'd never had a buyer meeting in person except for at Expo West, actually. Like recently last week, that was my first in-person buyer meeting, right? Because I've done everything on ECRM or RangeMe. And I was already using it because of 2020 and everything was kind of like moving virtually. And I remember getting pinged for this Kroger Fresh and Local Summit. And I looked at it a few times and I thought, oh, there's no way. And then I think it was like the last email from them. And it was like, okay, this is due tomorrow. Like, you have to do it basically. Like, you get pinged when applications close with you guys, right? So I just submitted my
part of the benefits of being RangeMe Premium.
The great reminder, right? The list of 100 things to do, and then this is one, right? So I remember submitting, and I think it only took like 10 or 15 minutes to submit, and I got through to the next round. And I remember it was like 3 or 4 rounds with different buyers or different like judges, like within the Kroger world, right?
Yep.
And a lot of samples. Like I remember going to UPS like every single week, sending out new samples to people on their team.
Wow.
And then I think after the 4th interview, then we got notified that I think they had 15 brands fly out to Ohio, fly out to Cincinnati with the Kroger workers.
Yeah.
And then 15 of us pitched like the innovation arms of Kroger. So it was like the VP of Fresh, the CEO of Pearl Rock, the CEO of 8451, the CEO of Home Chef. So kind of all of those like cutting edge parts of Kroger, judging the 15 of us. And it was like a major, like the first trip for me out of, or like during COVID, I was 32 weeks pregnant at the time, and I was like,
you're a warrior.
Doing this?
That is amazing.
And of course, I brought my mom because we come in a package.
That's cool.
I remember being like full hair and makeup. All the judges were like on the stage, and we got to have our, I think it's 3 or 4 minutes pitch and then questions.
Sounds like Shark Tank.
Exactly like Shark Tank. But it was a wonderful experience, and I really loved getting to know the other brands that were there, and all of the Kroger support that was there was amazing. And then I think we all kind of like flew back to our hometowns, and then they told us like the next week that we were finalists and that we were one of 5 companies that they were going to take through the program.
That's amazing. And so what does that mean for you? Like, what does taking through the program mean? Does that mean you get onto X amount of store shelves or X amount of distribution? And
so they had each division, they had like the divisions spread out. So I'm in the Midwest, I'm in Minneapolis. So I won my Minneapolis division, and we launched first in Detroit. There are no Kroger's in Minnesota, which is kind of funny actually. But so we launched in Michigan first. And then now we're in Chicago, in Mariano's in Chicago. And then we just opened up Texas. So we're kind of slowly making our way. So the program offers like marketing support. I'm merchandised in the Murray's cheese section of Kroger, so I get some demo support and extra support. Like I've done trainings with the cheesemongers at Murray's in the Michigan division in Chicago, so I get to kind of like tell them more about the brand and kind of hope that kind of gets to the customer too, right?
Education is key. And then, so what does that mean? Like now that you're in Kroger, are you going to expand your footprint there, or how has this Fresh Kroger Summit opened up more opportunities for Maazah?
Yeah, so we'll expand through Kroger where we're the right fit, right? But we've also leveraged it for other opportunities too, right? Other retail opportunities, larger distribution. Like now, before this, we were only distributed through one partner. Now we have 3 distribution partners and like 5 distribution points in the country. So
Amazing.
definitely leveraged as much as we can with them for sure.
That's awesome. Well done. That's amazing. And so with that expansion, what has happened if you had to like increase your order quantities with your co-manufacturers or change co-manufacturers because you need more production, or because obviously going from farmer market to big box retail is quite a big jump. And I'm sure many listeners and many people in our platform are going through a similar journey or about to go through that journey. And what happened with that?
Yeah, I think the manufacturing was the biggest piece. Manufacturing and sourcing was the biggest piece because we were manufactured locally. We kind of knew where everything was coming from, and that was the biggest journey for us, I think. And then also just getting the distribution points set up, like those 2 pieces together, are kind of the hardest parts of this.
Yeah.
But I think without Kroger, we wouldn't have done it. We wouldn't have built it that big. And
that's amazing. That's huge. That's great. And I'm so humbled that RangeMe has played a key part in that journey in ECRM. So that's really nice to hear. And I think because we have so many hundreds and thousands of suppliers, it's these success stories which really help like make what we do every day so important, because it's these small innovative brands getting on shelf at big box retail, which is what really gets us the most excited, because it just opens those incredible doors. So I'm just so glad to hear that it's changed your journey, and hopefully it means more retail doors and further expansion and all the rest of it. So you've been going for how many years now?
Actually, in retail, I would say January 2020, because I think we were like doing farmers markets and just like once a month working on the company.
Of course. And what would you say for people that are listening? What's like one of your biggest lessons learned, or one of your biggest F-ups that you've had in your business to date, or something that's happened that you can learn from, or our listeners can learn from, or any words of wisdom and advice that you can give?
Yeah, I think everyone is going to have an F-up moment in their manufacturing and in how they build it. My biggest piece of advice there would be like, don't try to force partners, right? Like make sure that the partners feel right and authentic, and that you are building it together, and that they believe in what you're doing as much as you do. Because I think if you don't have that from the beginning, it's just going to be a headache going forward, for sure.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. And what's next for Maazah? Like, what are your growth plans? What do you want to achieve for the rest of the year?
We are launching a new line of dal dips this summer, which we're really excited about. This is our solution to all of the bad hummus that's on the shelf. We didn't grow up with hummus, but we did grow up with dal, and we've been playing around with this in our kitchen for a while. So we're really excited about that. We just won the Expo West Pitch Slam last week.
Amazing.
Thank you. Yes. So we are going to use that momentum. We get a free booth at Expo West next year. So we're going to hopefully finish out our year with a couple more trade shows, kind of get our name out there, get some more distribution and retail partners.
Maybe a few more RangeMe ECRM summits.
Yes,
you never know. Awesome. So you're just going to continue to look for retail opportunities and expansion opportunities. Have you thought about international? Is that something you've set your sights on?
Yeah, we met a lot of very nice Canadians at the show last week. So maybe
I'm thinking UK, I'm
Yes.
thinking cross-border.
Yeah, totally. We'd love to.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, I can't wait to continue to follow your success. I've heard so much about you and your success with Kroger Summit. So it's just been great to meet you in person. And just congratulations, and continue hustling and continue putting some great chutney in people's hands.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This is lovely.